Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. Got my little wintry mug today. So today's video is going to be my Christmassy book haul. So if you're wondering why I look very Christmassy at the moment, that is the reason. I have a lot of books to haul. I've been saving these for a couple of months, but it's also all of the books that I got for Christmas and some books that I bought like on Black Friday or after Christmas sales or with Christmas gift cards. So I'm just going to be going through all of them with you today. I think there's over 50 of them, so I'm not going to be going really in depth into any of the synopsis. I'm just going to kind of rapid fire because if not, I think we would be here for forever. But if you're interested in seeing all the books that I got for Christmas and some other extras, please just keep on watching. All right, let me just prepare myself for this. Let's do this. This is the part where I get overwhelmed of what to do first. I'll go with the special edition books first because if it's a Fairy Loot book, I've already posted a Fairy Loot unboxing about it, so maybe I can rapid fire through those faster. So we'll start with those and then go on to the other stacks. So the first one is Year of the Reaper by Micaiah Lucifer. This was in the December Fairy Loot unboxing, and so I'm not going to get into this at all, but this is the first one. It's really pretty. The next one I got is the Fairy Loot edition of Kingdom of the Cursed. I pre-ordered this a long time ago and actually just received it today, which is months after the book came out, so I'm glad I bought the book when I did. But it's beautiful. Because I haven't shown you this one, I will show you this. So it's this beautiful like purpley and blacks color scheme, which matches the Fairy Loot edition of Kingdom of the Wicked. On the back it has a quote. It has these gorgeous stenciled sprayed edges. Top is black. It has under the cover dust jacket art. And it has silver foiling on the hardcover that looks like this, which features Emilia, the snake. It's beautiful, stunning. And it matches the other one really well, which is awesome. So this is beautiful. Glad I have this edition. Been waiting for it for a while. And for Kingdom of the Wicked, it's basically two twin sisters. One of them is found brutally murdered, and the other twin sister, Emilia, is trying to solve her sister's murder, and in doing so she summons a lesser demon, or she thinks she is, and it ends up being a prince of hell. And they kind of have to team up in this alliance to figure out what happened. The next book I got was a Christmas present from my husband, and it is the Waterstones exclusive edition of Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kuzner, and this is so pretty. It's this beautiful like wintry blue, different shades of blue, and this like coppery rose gold foiling. Looks like this. And the sprayed edges are so pretty. And the end pages look like this, which is really pretty. I guess it does have bonus content, but I haven't gotten that far yet. And from what I've heard of this, it is a dark Nutcracker retelling, which sounds perfect for winter, and it sounds like a fairy tale and magical. Stephanie Garber blurbed this, and she said it's bewitching storytelling, and I've heard really good things about it, and it sounds like something I'm really going to love, so excited about this. And on the front it says, "In the darkness of night, magic awaits." The next one I got is the Fairy Loot edition of Gilded by Marissa Meyer, which looks like this. It is a hardcover with this gold foiling all over it. It's absolutely stunning and matches the theme of this book so well, and it has gold gilded edges and a ribbon bookmark. And it has a quote on the back which says, "All magic comes at a price, but love wasn't part of the bargain." So I love this edition, it's awesome. End pages look like this, and it is signed by Marissa Meyer, which is super cool. And I have a review of this up, so I feel like I don't really need to give you a synopsis. Basically, this is just a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin. A lot of these are pre-ordered Fairy Loot books that came later than they were anticipated to, but also kind of came all at once. So the next one is The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni, and this is the sequel to The Prison Healer, which I haven't read yet, but because it was a Fairy Loot exclusive edition, you get the Fairy Loot exclusive edition of the sequels, etc. to match. So that's what I did with this one, and the cover looks like this. Spine, back, stenciled sprayed edges and colors, so pretty. Under the dust jacket art, which is stunning. And the foiled hardcover, which is beautiful. I like this color more than the first one, and the first one was beautiful. Of course, it's signed. The next one I got, which I was so excited about, was a Christmas present from my parents, and that is the illustrated edition of the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. And this was illustrated by the author, and I think this is the first time that the author's artwork has been released, but the cover looks like this, and the spine. and the bottom and top of the edges are sprayed red, and then the side, the Mordor language, it's written on the ring, and it's super cool. It has a lot of extra maps and stuff in it, but I'll just show you that when you take the dust jacket off, it does have the eye, and then the spine is foiled. And it comes with a ribbon bookmark, and it's beautiful. I asked for this for Christmas. I had no idea if I would receive it. I love it so much. It's great. So now I have this edition of Lord of the Rings to go with my fancy edition of The Hobbit. If you don't know what Lord of the Rings is about, where have you been all your life? The next one I got is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is the Fairy Loot exclusive edition that was in the October box. So nothing new to say about this one. I did a whole unboxing and I've talked about this book way more than is probably acceptable on my channel. Don't care, but it's stunning. I love it. So glad I have this edition. Another one I got is the Fairy Loot edition of Jade Fire Gold by June C.L. Tan. This was the Fairy Loot book in the November box. So I already have an unboxing of this. Beautiful edges, beautiful book. Yeah. Next Fairy Loot book I got was one I purchased myself, and it is Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. It's this beautiful black and gold with a little bit of like white or gray involved, and on the spine and on the back, gold sprayed edges with a ribbon bookmark. And on the back, the quote says, "For a strange moment, I felt as though I were watching myself from afar. A lone cloaked figure cleaving through an ocean of the dead. The chant of Vespertine shook the ground like a drumbeat. I could feel it in my bones." And the end pages are absolutely stunning because it has artwork on it. And it's signed by the author. So basically what I know about this book is it is a Grey Sister, which is a nun, and she is supposed to usher the dead. And I think a spirit enters her body and she's trying to figure out how to complete this task without unleashing more spirits. Don't know much about it, doing a very short synopsis. I was really excited about this book. I really wanted to read it. I got the Fairy Loot edition, so I've just gotten it recently, but I'm hoping to get to this soon. It sounds good. The last Fairy Loot edition I have is the Winter Night trilogy. So we have The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. The Bear and the Nightingale is the first one, which looks like this. Absolutely stunning. On the back it says, "Fairy tales are sweet on winter nights, nothing more." It has these beautiful blue sprayed edges that match the front of the book, and this gold foiling on the spine and the front. Beautiful end papers, and they are signed. The second one is The Girl in the Tower, which looks like this, and I love that they all have little scenes within the animals on the cover. Makes it even that much more special. Beautiful red sprayed edges. And the back of this one says, "Every time you take one path, you must live with the memory of the other, of a life left unchosen." And we have the foiling, the end papers, and the signature. Now, my copy of The Winter Witch is damaged, so they are sending me a replacement copy, but this is the one that I have to show you right now, so it's a little beat up. And this is The Winter Witch, and it's this beautiful green with this scene with the bear, spine, back. Beautiful green sprayed edges. And the back says, "One man's monster is another man's beloved." And foiling, end papers, and signature. This is a series I've been wanting to read for a really long time, and I was almost buying other copies of it, so when I saw Fairy Loot was doing a special edition, I went ahead and grabbed it, hoping I'm gonna love it. Basically, all I know about it from the first one is that there is a girl that lives in this Russian village who likes to tell stories of magic and sorcery and the like. They're trying to push all of that folklore and magic out and kind of usher in a more traditional religion. As that's being pushed out, there's a dark force rising, dark magic stirring, and this main character may be the only thing that can stop it, and so she's trying to figure out how to do that. That's like the vaguest, probably most horrible synopsis you've ever heard of that book, but that's kind of what I know about it, and I'm excited. I've heard it's very cold and very nice to read in the winter, so maybe I'll be able to get to it soon. All right, now for the other books. I guess we'll just start. I grabbed these a long time ago at Ollie's. These don't really need a lot of explanation, but if you've ever seen Sarah Scribbles comics, I found these at Ollie's for like $3 to $2 each. And so I just grabbed 3 of her books. This one is A Big Mushy Happy Lump. And they just have these cute little comics that I'm sure you've seen everywhere. In Cats and Adulthood is a Myth. And I just thought these would be fun and uplifting to flip through sometimes. These next few I'm going to go through are actually Christmas presents that I bought my husband, or that my husband got for Christmas. And I'm including them because a lot of times we read the same books, so I may or may not be getting to some of these. Some of them I definitely will be getting to, some of them I may not. It just depends on how I'm feeling. First one is Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong. This is a self-published author, and I've heard nothing but good things about this book. And I remember the moment I heard about this book, I thought John would really like it, so we got it for him for Christmas. And all I know about this is that it follows a mother and a son, and he's training to become a warrior and protect his home. The next one I got him was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. He read Recursion by Blake Crouch, and he really enjoyed it, and we thought he would also like this one, so we went ahead and grabbed him a copy. And it's kind of pitched as like a mind-blowing sci-fi suspense story and a love story mashup, which, what? And from what I know about this, basically the main character hears, "Are you happy with your life?" before he's kidnapped and knocked unconscious, and then he wakes up and he's in a life that is not his own. So sounds scary, sounds fun. Hopefully he'll like it. The next one I got him was Children of Dune by Frank Herbert. He read Dune for the first time about a month ago, and so I was trying to get him books 2 and 3. 3 came, 2 did not. So we did get him Children of Dune, and hopefully he enjoys continuing with Dune. I'm sure you know what Dune is about at this point, if you've seen the movie or just seen hype about it recently, but basically there is a colony that goes to the planet Arrakis to try to boost the financial situation of spice running and also for the Empire itself, and they run into a lot of trouble. The next thing he got was the first 3 books of the Witcher series, not the short stories, but the first actual 3 novels. So we have Blood of Elves, A Time of Contempt, and A Baptism of Fire by Adrian Stokowski, which is very exciting because we love The Witcher, we watch it, and we've also been reading the books, but we hadn't been able to get into the main parts of the novels yet, so excited that we have these. This video is gonna be so long. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, one more book I can throw out there is The Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling. This came in a fairy loot, so I'm not gonna touch on this, but I did get that technically. A couple more Christmas presents I got was the Tower Knights series by Angela J. Ford, which the first one is The Music of the Night, and the second one is The Song of the Dawn. The first one is a Phantom of the Opera retelling, which is why I asked for it. I love Phantom of the Opera, and I thought Phantom of the Opera retelling would be really interesting as an adult novel. And I think this is also a romance, but it's kind of a gothic fairy tale-esque, so I'm really curious to see what this author has done with this story. And the cover is, even though I don't like the people on it, the cover's pretty. And the best part is that when you take the dust jacket off, because I'm not a fan of people, there's this beautiful printing on the front and back, which I love. And like I said, this one's a Phantom of the Opera retelling, and that's kind of what I know about that. And the Song of the Dawn is that there's this like haunted inn and some magical components that happen with the music, and that this innkeeper that works at this inn may or may not be harboring in darkness and forces unknown. And how that unfolds, I have no idea, but I'm excited to find out. This is what the cover looks like. And the naked print on this one is also stunning. And it looks like this. I have never read from this author before, but I'm excited to give her a shot. And I thought this series sounded really interesting. And from what I know, it is called A Tower Knight's Tale. And so they're all a part of the Tower Knights series, but each of them can be read individually. They're not like an interlinking story. So I hope these will be fun little reads. The next one I got is Beasts of Beauty by Soman Chinani, and this is Dangerous Tales. So this is like a bunch of short stories of all original fairy tales and their retellings and twists on all of them, and this is the author for The School of Good and Evil, which I do have the first one, and I've been wanting to read it for a while and I just haven't picked it up yet, but when I saw that he was coming out with this, it just sounded like a really fun time, and I was really intrigued about it. And kind of the tagline for this is, you think you know these stories, don't you? You don't. You're wrong. You don't at all. And so that just sounds really great. I love the cover, it's awesome. And I was able to snag this at the Barnes & Noble sale. And if you look in here, it has beautiful illustrations all throughout, like this. Very happy I was able to grab this. The next one I got was a pre-order, and that is Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. And if you don't know what this is, I read these webtoons every Sunday, and it is a graphic novel based on the Webtoon app. You can go on the Webtoon app and read all of these different types of comics for free. But Rachel Smythe did one about Lore Olympus, which is a retelling of Hades and Persephone and a lot of other Greek myths. And it is set in kind of like a modern day setting, and it's really interesting. She does an amazing job with it. It's absolutely wonderful. It deals with great themes, and I love this series and screamed when I found out it was gonna be a physical copy, and I will buy all of them. I can't wait. Just to give you a peek of the illustrations, they're really pretty. The next one I got was The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid, and this is one that I kind of had my eye on and was really interested in reading, especially since I read For the Wolf by Hannah Witten, And so I kind of had this on my radar, thought it sounded really interesting, got it on sale at Barnes & Noble. And from what I know of this book, the main character is sacrificed to the woodsman because she is the only one in her village without power. And so these woodsmen come and they take her as a blood sacrifice, and then things aren't necessarily what they seem. The next one I grabbed while I could is the Thomas Nelson season edition of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is the summer season. So now I have one from winter, one from fall, one from spring, and one from summer to complete what I would consider my collection of these books. And I chose Jane Eyre because it's one of the ones I've been curious about classics-wise. I'm not a huge fan of classics, and there's not a lot of them. Like, I don't want to read every classic there ever was. This is one of them that I think I will, even though this is a chonker. It's beautiful. It's like kind of light blue and has this pretty berry color underneath in pages, book number. And the quote on the back to match the season is, "It was quite at the other end of the house, but I knew my way, and the light of the unclouded summer moon entering here and there at passage windows enabled me to find it without difficulty." And basically Jane Eyre becomes a governess, and then she starts at Mr. Rochester's estate, and I believe they start to fall for each other, and it's kind of pitched as a love story, but also it's like how Wuthering Heights is a love story, so it's not really a good one. And I guess that's just Charlotte Bronte's MO, but excited to have this. The next book I got is When Night Breaks by Janella Angelis. This is the author of Where Dreams Descend, and this is the second in the Kingdom of Cards duology. So I can't tell you much about this one, but the first one is basically the main character. Kalia is a magician, and she enters a dangerous competition for magicians, even though the man in charge of her is forbidding it, and she goes anyway, and then lots of dangerous consequences follow, and so we're just picking up where the story left off. It's a beautiful cover. I love the blue. I love the sparkly mirror. The end papers are really pretty, and it has this beautiful shattered mirror foiling on the front. The next one is a Christmas present we also got my husband, and that is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and this is the illustrated edition, which is stunning. I love the color story and everything about this in pages, and it's of course filled with illustrations like this. And The Assassin's Apprentice follows Fitz, who finds out that he is the son, well-known family that he never knew, and then he goes to meet his father. His father doesn't want to see him, leaves, and so Fitz kind of ends up being an assassin's apprentice. And you kind of follow his story from there. I don't know much about it other than that, but hopefully John likes it. I'll get through a couple other of John's presents. The first one is The Girl in the Stars by Mark Lawrence. This is a spin-off trilogy from Red Sister. This is like the next trilogy he's writing. And this is the first installment of that. And I'm not going to get into this at all because it's a spin-off trilogy, but yeah. I know he really liked the Red Sister trilogy, so hopefully he likes this. And the next one I got him that I am also hoping to read once I get through the other two books is Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. This is the UK edition, which is absolutely stunning. And this is the third installment in the Starsight trilogy. And Starsight follows Spensa, who's trying to become a pilot, but her reputation is kind of tainted because of her father, who abandoned them in the middle of a battle. And the end papers are really cool. Another one of my Christmas presents is Extraordinary by B.E. Schwab, and this is volume 1 in her Extraordinary graphic novels. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so that's why the cover is different, and there's some bonus things in here. So this is from the world of Vicious and Vengeful, the Velen series, and you're following another EO, Charlotte Tills. That's kind of all I know about it, but because it's set in the Vicious universe, I was very pumped about this, so I was very happy that I received a copy, and it is signed. Another book I got is The Faithless Hawk by Margaret Owen, and this is the last installment in the Merciful Crow duology. I have the Merciful Crow, but I haven't read it yet, but I am starting to get into Margaret Owen, so I'm happy to have the rest of this duology. All I really know about the Merciful Crow is that there are different caste systems based on birds, and the crows are supposed to usher in the dead, and that's all I know about it, and then it kind of turns into some rebellious stuff. I'm curious to get into the stories. The next one I got is We Free the Stars, which is the second in the We Hunt the Flame duology by Asaf Azael. And it's been a while since I've looked at the synopsis for We Hunt the Flame, but basically there is a girl who is dressed up as a guy trying to be an assassin, and then she meets another assassin guy, and I think there's some political intrigue and maybe some romance, but it sounded like a really fun time, so I'm glad that I have the second book now. I'm gonna lose track of what I've said was a Christmas present or not, so just assume most of these are. The next one I got is Broken Wish by Julia C. Dow. This is something that I've had on my radar for a long time. The cover's really pretty. And was really curious about, and so when I finally had the chance, I grabbed it on sale. And kind of all I know about this is that she has magic that she's trying to hide, so she's not like seen as a witch or even like burned as a witch, something like that. And she ends up finding this magic mirror and finds a powerful witch, and the lines of hero and villain start to blur, and that's all I know, but I remember being really intrigued about it, and it sounds really good, so I hopefully can get to this soon. The next one I grabbed is Aurora's End by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the third and final installment in the Aurora cycle, and I have the first 2 books that I got for a long time ago on sale, so I went ahead and grabbed the third one in hardcover to match my other ones while it was also on sale, and I hope to be able to get to this series soon. I believe the first one is just this girl named Aurora is picked up by this flight crew, and she's in a cryo sleep, and they wake her up, and she may be a key to this intergalactic war. The next one I got is Forestborn by Elaine Audrey Beckner, and from what I understand about this is that the main character in this is a shifter. Don't exactly know what that means, but she uses it to spy for the king, and an illness starts to take over the kingdom, which threatens her best friend, and so she has to go into the forest that she was born into and she swore to never go back to in order to find the cure. Another one I got is Fable by Adrienne Young. This is one that I've had on my radar for a long time. I saw it for a good deal, and so I snagged it. Very irritated that there's a sticker on here, but you know, hopefully we can get that off. And kind of all I know about this is that she goes on a journey to try to find her father, try to take his place with him and his crew, and she teams up with somebody to do so, but it's more dangerous than they seem, and the trading enterprise is also very dangerous. The next one I picked up is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I read House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig this year, and I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. So I grabbed this when there was a sale, and I love the cover. It's really pretty. It seems very happy, even though I know it's not very happy. And from what I know about this, the main character is kind of living a normal life, kind of like tending to her family's land and animals. And these creatures that everybody thought was a myth seem to no longer be a myth, and these strange events in town start happening. And these said creatures kind of reveal themselves, and they start offering to fulfill the desires of the townspeople for just a few favors. And even though that seems all well and good, there is a lot more harm than they anticipated, and some sinister consequences ensue. So sounds scary, sounds fun. Glad I have it. Another one that I got that I was very excited about is All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody. And basically how this has been pitched is a morally gray and more villainous Hunger Games, which sounds awesome. So every generation on every blood moon, 7 families compete in this tournament to the death to take exclusive control over this like wellspring of magic. It sounds so good. I want to get to this ASAP. The next one I grabbed is The Damned by Renee Ahdieh. This is the second installment in the Beautiful series. All I know is that it's historical in Louisiana about vampires, and I had the first one, so I grabbed the second one while it was really cheap. And yeah, I've heard good things and I've heard not so good things. So hopefully I can make up my mind for myself. I know The Righteous, the third one, just came out, and I believe it's set to have 4 books. The next one is Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim, and this is the second in the Blood of Stars duology, and I have the first one, Spin the Dawn. I haven't read it, but I wanted to complete the duology so that I had it when I wanted to read it so that I could just go right through it. And the first one is basically a kind of Mulan meets Project Runway. Basically, the Emperor needs a seamstress, but this is only a man's job, and so she disguises herself in order to enter into this competition. And the kind of journey goes from there. Okay, the next ones I got was because I was afraid they were discontinuing this cover change because I couldn't find them anywhere. And a lot of the times when I don't know what to ask for, I'll ask for books that are on my wish list, and these were on them. So that is The Crown of Embers by Rae Carson. This is the second to A Girl of Fire and Thorns. And they recently had cover changes and they're absolutely stunning, so I just went ahead and grabbed them. Girl of Fire and Thorns is one I've been really curious about, and I need to get to it soon. I need to force myself to read a lot of these books. I just went ahead and grabbed the second one. On that same vein, I also had The Bitter Kingdom, which is the third, and The Empire of Dreams, which is the fourth, and this one came out last year. And honestly, the synopsis is kind of vague, but basically the main character in A Girl of Fire and Thorns, it feels like she's always been useless and powerless, and on her 16th birthday, she's secretly married this king, and they need her to be the chosen one, and these dark forces are also looking for her, and it's kind of like hinging on if the prophecy is fulfilled, then she could be everything that they need. So kind of vague, really interesting, I've heard good things. The next one I grabbed is Stormfront by Jen Butcher. This is the first novel in the Dresden Files. The Dresden Files is a very popular sci-fi series, and I just kind of want to see what it's about. I may not go any further than the first one, but I want to know kind of what the hype is and why this is such a good series and why some people love it and some people don't. And basically, I'll just read you this little tiny blurb on the back. It says, Harry Dresden, wizard. Lost items found, paranormal investigations, consulting, advice, reasonable rates, no love potions, endless purses, or other entertainment. This guy's a wizard and he ends up teaming up with like the police. I don't know. Curious about it, which is why I got it, because it was a good price. And I would like to know. This one I grabbed because I have the first one and I want to read the series and I saw this for a good price, so I just kind of grabbed it. That is The Hand in the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This is the third, I believe, in the Truly Devious series, which is a murder mystery series. And I think I'll really enjoy it, and I have the first one, so I just went ahead and grabbed this. I've heard really good things about this series, so I'm excited about it. And all I know is that she goes to this like boarding school or something like that, and she gets tangled in solving this mystery. This murder mystery. All right, everyone, we're getting close. The next one is Seasons of Storm by Elle Cosimano. And this is one, again, that I was curious about for a while. And it sounds like it's kind of like a Jack Frost retelling. And basically all of this is tied into the seasons, and each season has to kill their previous season. So it says, Jack Summers was faced with the choice, live forever according to the ancient magical rules of Gaia or die. Jack chose to live, and in exchange he became a winter. Like the other seasons, each year Jack must hunt and kill the one before him. Winter kills autumn, autumn kills summer, summer kills spring, and spring kills winter. They die, they train, they hunt. But when winter and spring fall for each other, they know they have to break the cycle. So it sounded really interesting and just kind of a cool premise. And I've been intrigued about it for a while, so when I found it paperback for a good price, I went ahead and grabbed it. I feel like these next two need no explanations or synopses, but here we go. I grabbed Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard because I got Realmbreaker this year, and that's the first Victoria Aveyard book I've owned. And I just went ahead and grabbed this that way in case I really love the Realmbreaker series, that I can also delve into the Red Queen series. I know there's a big fan base behind this. I've never read it, and I'm curious about it, obviously, so I kind of want to know what it's all about. Kind of what I know about this is that there is two families or two people. One is red blood and one is silver blood. And like the Reds are lowly, kind of like Red Rising, but the Silverbloods have like supernatural powers. And then the main character finds out that she also has powers, and so it comes into question if she is half and half or what's going on. So the king, to like hide this, tells her she's this long lost silver princess. Sounds interesting. The next one is The Wicked King by Holly Black. I have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which is the first in this Book of the Air trilogy. I haven't read it, but this is the second book, and I saw it for like a buy one, get one 50% off type thing. So I went ahead and grabbed it because I know I have the first one, and I know I'm going to want to read the series. So yeah. The Cruel Prince, from what I understand, is kind of like this fae takes this girl into the fae world to pay a debt because she is like half fae and she doesn't really fit into the human world or the fae world, and she's kind of bullied and kind of has to defend herself in that realm and ends up getting involved with the prince. The next book I grabbed is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, and this is the first in the Last Hour series, and this is the next installment in the Shadowhunters universe. I finally finished all of the Shadowhunter books this year except for the Last Hour series, and this is supposed to take place in the same world as like the Infernal Devices, but it's like they're kids. So I'm very excited about it because I loved the Infernal Devices. Everything else was kind of okay. But I'm hoping that this is going to be the same as the Infernal Devices, and I've heard really good things about this. So I grabbed the paperback versions with the spines, with the maps, because these are the editions that I like to have. And I'm very happy I have it. And I hope this series is as good as the Infernal Devices. It can't be, but hopefully it's really good. The next one I grabbed was To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Bracken. This is one that has also been on my radar for a while and was a culprit in the buy one, get one 50% off. And from what I know about this, it is about a siren who kills princes and steals their hearts, which gives her a bunch of power, but then something happens and she's kind of exiled by her mother, the queen, and she's turned into a human, which is a despicable thing to them, and what sirens loathe the most. And in order to get back to her kingdom, she has to steal another heart, or she'll remain human forever. So it kind of sounds like a Little Mermaid retelling, and it sounded like a really interesting read, so glad that I have this. Next one is A Rogue of One's Own by Evie Dunmore. and this is the second installment in a League of Extraordinary Women series. I recently read Bringing Down the Duke and I really liked it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm definitely going to read the whole series now, so I went ahead and grabbed A Rogue of One's Own. Each book is like following one of the 4 women in this friend group, and this is following Lucy. And it's all about the women's suffrage movement in Oxford, and I just love them. They're really fun. Well, the first one was anyway. And this main character is kind of tempting this rogue Tristan, so I'm very excited about this and to continue the series. In that same vein, I picked up A Portrait of a Scotsman by Evie Dunmore, which is the 3rd installment in the League of Extraordinary Women series, and this one is following Hattie, and it's a Hades and Persephone retelling is what I was told, which I did not know that when I picked this up, or just in general. I just was going to read it because it was a part of the series, but this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. While she's part of the women's suffrage movement, she doesn't really understand all of what's going on because she is part of an affluent family in Oxford, and she finds herself in a compromising situation, I guess, and has to marry this man. Cue Hades and Persephone retelling. So yeah, I really love these books. I'm excited about the next one coming out in 2022, and we'll probably read this soon. The next one I got that I have not heard anybody talk about, so I don't know if this is good or not, and hopefully I can get to it soon to let you know, but that is A Light in the Sky by Shana Reynolds. It says, how far would you fly for freedom? It has Pegasus in it, and every year it competes in a tournament to become part of the King's Cavalry, which ride on these horses to defend the kingdom, but her father has forbidden her from competing and from joining the king's ranks. But when her father is injured, she is thrust into the competition, and as she's about to start this tournament, she finds out some devastating secrets about the King's War. It sounds really interesting. It's a Pegasus flying tournament. That's all I really know about it, and that's why I got it, because I was really curious about how that would all play out. So let me know if you've heard of this book, or if you've read it and what your thoughts are, but the cover's really pretty. The next and final book I got is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I don't think this really needs any introduction, but basically this is a dark academia fantasy book, and there are 6 individuals trying to get into the Alexandrian Society because only 6 of the most uniquely talented magicians discovered will be selected for initiation, and they are told that 5 will be initiated and 1 will be eliminated. And this has been blowing up everywhere, so I'm sure you've heard people talk about this, and I was really curious about it when I saw it and heard about it too. So, sounds interesting. Hopefully it's good. So if you've read this, let me know your thoughts. I know there's a lot of good and bad opinions out there, especially because this is the unedited edition, and the edited edition is coming out in 2022. But curious about your thoughts on this. Okay, everyone, well, that was a very long video, but we're done. I've hauled all the books for you. My bookshelves are crying because I'm just gonna have to go in and reorganize so much of it, which is the only downside to book hauls. Even though I do like organizing them, trying to find different spaces for everything that I want it to be in can be challenging. Everyone, well, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.